Christmas, everyone. Today I'm going to talk to you about Die Hard. Up front, I am in the camp that considers this a Christmas movie. I consider it a Christmas action movie because Christmas is very much at the heart of this film. John McClane is a New York City cop traveling to Los Angeles where his wife took a job. They're estranged, and it's about him coming to see his family for Christmas and hopefully patching things and restoring his family. And it's a great, fun action film. A film that, unlike most action films today, actually has heart, something the last Die Hard movie, A Good Day to Die Hard, was completely lacking. His wife works for Nakatomi Industries. She's at the Nakatomi Tower, and it's a 40-story skyrise that just so happens to be the target of so-called terrorists that want to steal the bonds. And it's a good movie. It has some humor, like the fact that McClane has his shoes off when the attack starts, and he spends the whole movie barefoot. So there's even subtle little humor like that in, as well as just the sarcastic humor Bruce Willis brings to the role. Everyone is cast well, especially the main villain. No, Simon was in the third movie. Hans Gruber, played by Alan Rickman, who's a sophisticated and, even dare I say it at times, charming villain, but incredibly dangerous and ruthless. He's a guy not to be messed with. And this film even has great side characters that were in there briefly and could have been nothing, but the actors give so much to them, like the limo driver Argyle. He's a small character, only in a few scenes, but those few scenes, Argyle gives it everything it's worth, and he even gets involved in the action at one point when he sees one of the terrorists pulling a ambulance out of a truck that could only have had stolen Gallifreyan technology to fit the ambulance in there. He crashes into it with his limo and punches the terrorist out. I love that scene, but why didn't they have Argyle saying Merry Christmas? They missed a great opportunity there. And I love the game of cat and mouse, and this is McClane. He's having the people chase him around the tower. He's not always confronting them directly, but he's making them chase him and meet them on his terms because he's outnumbered, and he's always having to stay one step ahead. There's another great character, Al. He's a cop, played by Reginald Van Johnson, and he's a great character. He's always on the radio talking to McClane, and I like the back and forth. These two become friends quick, and as we learn, Al has a desk job. At first, McClane makes a joke. What you do with the way you drive, I can see why. What you do, run over your captain's foot, and he explains, no, I had an accident. And what it was, a kid was aiming a toy gun at him. It was dark. It looked real enough. He shot, and he just can't bring himself to draw his gun anymore. It's a very real situation, and you feel sorry for this guy because he was essentially defending himself. And I can't stress this enough, that when you're a police officer and you have someone pulling what looks like a real gun on you, you have a split second to decide between life and death. You can you can take the chance that it's not real and probably get shot and killed yourself, or you can take the chance and pull and fire first. And it's a very real tragic situation that actually happens, and this sets up something later on in the film. The main terrorist that's after McClane working for Alan Rickman's Hans Gruber is one by the name of Carl. The first terrorist killed by McClane was Carl's brother, and Carl's out for blood, and there's a lot of good just stuff in that. Eventually, the FBI gets involved, and they do everything they need to get the vault to open, but they need the power to cut off to trip the last lock. Well, the FBI has it shut off, which Robert Darby's one of the FBI agents. He played one of my all-time favorite Bond villains in License to Kill. And they decide, we're just going to have armed helicopters shoot the terrorists. Well, we get some back and forth while this is going on. McClane finds that the roof's rigged to blow. He meets Hans, and he's a cop. He's smart. He sees a name on the board when he enters the Nakatomi Tower, and that's the name that Hans took. But again, Bruce Willis, no dummy, he hands Hans an unloaded pistol, and when he goes to turn on him, it's not an empty gun, and we get a scene where he's in this area with a lot of glass, so Hans just has them shoot the glass so Barefoot McClane can't be an issue anymore, which I think is another great thing because it adds another layer to Hans where most villains would just walk up and shoot McClane at that point. Hans may be a cold-blooded killer, but he won't kill if he doesn't have to, and if he's satisfied, and if he's convinced the threat is neutralized in a satisfactory way, he's not going to pursue it anymore, and he figured McClane's no longer a threat. He now has the C4 detonators, which, quick talk, I want to talk about my favorite scene in the film. The LA SWAT's going to storm the building. They have a riot vehicle, and the terrorists have some rocket launchers. They're shooting it again, and McClane knows the officers are going to get killed, so he has the C4 and some detonators. He puts the detonators in, puts the C4 on a chair with a computer, and throws it down the elevator shaft, destroying a floor of the building and saving the police officers. Another great scene with Argyle, because he's talking to the captain of the LA Police Department on the phone, and at this point he's hearing it on the radio, and the one-liner McClane gives, Argyle just cracks up, which again, I love how this actor didn't have a big part, but he gave it everything. Eventually, McClane gets to the roof as the helicopters are coming, and he knows that the people in the building are dangerous. Like I said, Hans won't, he's a cold-blooded killer, but he won't kill everyone he has to. He has these people on the building for a reason. He wants the FBI to think they're all going to be dead with a big explosion. Why? Because when you steal $600, you can just disappear. When you steal $6 million, they will find you unless they believe you're already dead, as he tells McClane's wife when he takes her hostage. So McClane's on the roof, and he's just firing the gun in the air to get the people off the roof. FBI starts shooting at him, so he has to tie a fire extinguisher around, jump off the building, and shoot his way through a building as it explodes. Now he has just 2 bullets left at this point in an empty automatic weapon, so he has to use his wits. He tapes his pistol to his back, comes with the gun, confronts Hans, drops it, hands up, shoots Hans, and Hans falls over but grabs McClane's wife. McClane has to break a watch that was given to her as a present to get him to fall. And when we think the movie's going to wrap up nicely, we're even showed McClane dealt with Carl earlier, we hear some screaming from the crowd, and it's Carl with his automatic weapon, and we're like, oh great, McClane's in trouble, he doesn't have any weapons. Al, who could never bring himself to pull his revolver, pulls it and shoots Carl. And I like the fact that they have a triumphant music playing over this because Carl is now able to draw his revolver and be a full on. Not that being a desk job isn't a good effort for a cop, but he's able to do what he needs to in the line of duty again. He overcame what happened to him. McClane finally gets to meet Al face to face, and the movie wraps up nicely with Let It Snow playing. I give this one an A plus. It's a great Christmas action film. It's one of those Christmas movies you can watch year round. Christmas is very much at the core of this movie, and next time, join me for a very interesting one. I'm going to talk about Lethal Weapon and how Riggs can be a stand-in for Ebenezer Scrooge, and how three of the characters can be a stand-in for the three spirits. So don't forget to like, share, comment, subscribe. Over and out.